Currently fairly limited. There's not a wide proliferation yet of 3D printing machines, although there are services now available. Supermarkets, I think Asda are now offering the option of going in and getting some 3D printing done at some reasonable expense, I understand. And machines are now costing perhaps as little as £500. That will come down, and then it will be a wider problem. And actually, it's not just the proliferation of machines, but actually the CAD files, the computer-aided design files. And when those are readily available, that then will start posing much more of a risk, I think. I think there's a two-pronged approach that should be taken. One is the stick and the carrot. The stick side is engaging with your intellectual property rights you have available and taking actions where you can, not necessarily against the end user, in fact invariably best not against the end user, but those who are actually making available the designs, the actual CAD files. Probably also not against the machine manufacturers, because they're generally not going to be actually specifically facilitating copying. Often a lot of the copying that can get done is perfectly legitimate, and so there wouldn't be necessarily a cause of action against them. But those who are making those CAD files available are likely to be targets. And then the second really is simply to make your own legitimate CAD files available if you think that's appropriate, much like they've done in the music industry. So the way the music industry has clawed the situation back has been by making decent prices for the online files that you want to download. So now you don't pay more than 80p or £1 for some music, whereas previously most people were getting it for free. Now actually most people are getting it, certainly in the UK, are getting it from legitimate sources. And that's really the best approach, is to come up with a good licensing scheme and have the rights that you wish to exploit available through a proper price rather than through the pirates for free. The manufacturers of the machines, I think, probably have less to think about and worry about, simply because their machines generally can be used for non-infringing uses, either copyright or design right infringements. So generally they won't face a problem. I think this issue has been resolved for many decades now. There was a case against CBS and Amstrad, where Amstrad, who were making dual VHS machines, were told they weren't infringing. Even though, of course, some infringing use could be made of their machines, there was lots of non-infringing uses. And I think the same will apply for the machinery makers here. Where I think there could be problems are those who are making the CAD files available, much like those who've made available music for free. If they're doing it for free and they're unlawful copies, then I think they will face liability and action, depending on where they're based, of course, and how effective that action will be. But action has been taken in the music industry, and the same sort of action is likely to arise for those who distribute the CAD files illegally. Those who provide a service for 3D printing, so I know Asda are doing it, and I think various others will no doubt shortly be offering 3D printing services. They have to be quite careful, because you shouldn't just allow anyone off the street to come and say, I'd like to make a copy of some product here, which may well be the subject of copyright protection, design protection. There they would essentially be facilitating copying, so they've got to be very careful about what they're allowed to be copied on their machines. And they'll have policies in place, and no doubt they'll be having people signing waivers and getting indemnities. But actually, at the end of the day, they've got to be careful and make sure that people aren't allowing illegal copies to be made on their machinery.